Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Brown Munde podcast. Today's episode 2. You're with myself, Afzal, and I've got Akil with me today. Just the two of us, but due to circumstances, obviously Harps was a bit busy today, Riz was a bit busy, but the show must go on. So we are going to talk a little bit about transfers today on the back of the news of obviously Romano making a few tweets about Andre Onana and what that could mean for the future of the club. Before we get into that, though, I just want to take a brief second. Obviously, we had some sad news today within the Manchester United fan base. Former Manchester United goalkeeper, club legend, Edwin van der Sar has sadly had a brain hemorrhage. He's currently in hospital at the moment receiving treatment. So we just want to send our well wishes and our prayers to himself, his family, and his friends. And hopefully he can have a speedy recovery and get back to doing the job he loves at Ajax. But yeah, apart from that, Akil, let's get into this, man.
Yeah, I think what it is. Before we actually obviously go into the actual talk about transfers, I just want to obviously mention Edwin van der Sar. All prayers are going for him and his family. Quick recovery. Secondly, what I want to say is a thank you to everyone for all the support and love that you're giving us. We've got a lot of comments coming through from Spotify and YouTube as well. Um, and there's been a lot of build on all the other social media channels. There's one uh, comment that I want to mention, a review basically. I want to mention it's from Nadeem from he's wrote it on Spotify, and he's wrote the honesty is admirable. Keep it up, lads. Doing great work. This will blow up. Now, this is the thing we actually want to keep pushing, and with everyone's love and support, I think we should be able to get to where we want to be, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I second that. Like you said, we've done 2 episodes. We've done one of Brown Monday, one of Harami United, which both thankfully seem to go down a bit well. Um, Absolutely blown away by the positivity. Um, can't thank you guys enough, honestly. Particularly, I want to do one of my own shout outs, which is a Twitter follower actually. His at just a little shout out for the guy. His at was today I feel Qatar, and he retweeted our Harami United post, and he quoted, "What a great podcast! Must listen. Representing Asian United fans, which we haven't had properly ever. Big up." And now for me, that was something again. As Harp said in the very first episode, that was something we wanted to do as sort of South Asians, Arabs, Africans, like Brown Monday in a sense. That is how we formed and that is why we came together. But I just want to stress that that isn't entirely about United fans. That, we want to represent football fans worldwide in that sort of demographic. Just because we're Man United fans doesn't mean that we speak only for Manchester United fans. If you're Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Benfica, whatever, you know, you can get your voices out there too. And if we can be the the sort of the inspiration springboard for that, that's everything to us, man. We are, as I see it, we're starting to change the game, and I think that there's a lot more space out there for another sort of Asian run fan channel podcast, whatever you want to call us, from a different club. And honestly, I would love to see it. But yeah, I mean, down to it, like I said, Akil, Andre Onana, man, had an absolutely mental game in the Champions League final. We got the news today from Romano that it's very close, terms are agreed. But yeah, what are you thinking on this, man? Because for me, fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I've watched Onana a few times for Inter Milan, and even when he was at Inter Milan, not Inter Milan, Ajax on Tenag, yeah, I watched him play, and I didn't watch him properly to me in the sense of obviously he's a really good keeper and everything. He was a good keeper, but when you actually want to like Ten Hag, he has his own style of play. And when you look at his own style of play, you actually realize David De Gea isn't that kind of keeper that needs to go forward, and he needs his own keeper. In the sense of he needs obviously that super keeper, as in like Alisson, Edison, in that sense as well. If you go back to the Champions League final, I think a lot of player people now, fans, are looking at the Champions League final thinking, did this keeper was something? And I think for Ten Hag, we need to sign him, and we've just been given the go ahead. Well, not go ahead, but more or less the go ahead.
It's
From
essentially that
Romano.
famous "here we go," isn't it? You know, the
Yeah,
"here we go" tweet we used to see from Romano, the siren emojis, the exclusive. Um, you know, essentially it's the guy's brand, man. And let's be honest, he's probably the best out there. This stuff. So if he's saying it's done, or not almost done, as he's put it, I'm taking that as gospel, and I'm saying, yeah, you know, and I can't wait to see it. I mean, you mentioned the Champions League final. I think he had a fantastic performance. I think, unfortunately, he got caught out once, which was the Rodri goal, which, let's be honest, what a hit, man. What a goal.
yeah, it was a good goal.
But
It was
he
a good goal
sort of
from Rodri as well.
he stood up to Haaland, and Haaland, the man's a unit. So anyone who can stand up to him and sort of throw his weight around a bit, I'm all on board. He's got that crazy Fabian Barthez side to him, which I think a lot of our younger fans may not be aware of Barthez, but you're in
You
for
know
a
what?
wild ride, kids.
You know what it is, Afsal. For Barthez, so I was a big fan of Barthez, but I think if Barthez was right now at his age, not his age, but younger age, playing for under Ten Hag, he would have been a class keeper. Onana, for me, he's going to be a game changer. He's probably going to be one of those signings that we will look back in the next 10 years, 5 years, and say, you know what, Onana was key to Erik Ten Hag. The way he wanted to play, his just a signing itself of Onana, just a present for him to come in and stand that ground on the pitch. I think for me, Onana is going to be a massive signing for us going forward. And then you've got the likes of obviously he wants to play out of the back. You just seen it a few times last summer where we tried to play out the back and did not work at all with the likes of Varane, uh, David De Gea, Maguire, Martinez. It did not work at all. What do you think? But
Yeah,
Onana,
I mean, for me, he is the sort of the embodiment of the modern day sweeper keeper. You know, this comes out comes out to receive the ball, comes charging out of his box, takes command of his area, not afraid to dribble the ball. And I mean, I sent out a tweet just before we actually sat down to record this, and I literally said this is game changing. Automatically, we will be 10, 15 yards higher up the pitch, which in terms of midfielders, so Bruno, Ericsson, Casemiro, Mount, automatically they've got a little bit less work to do. They've got a few less bodies to bypass. I would hope that leads to more goals and assists for the front three as well as the midfield three. But yeah, it's going to be good to see, man. I think if I'm right in believing, he is, I believe, 27, which in goalkeeper terms is
at probably the peak of the years, isn't it? Peak of the
sort of
years.
your peak of your powers.
Yeah.
You're not young, but you're not also in your prime. So I reckon maybe 7, 8 years out of him.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, as well, I think they linked to the keeper, ain't they? Zion Suzuki,
Yes, this Japanese guy. He's
Japanese kid, yeah, 20 years old. So I think I've watched his videos on YouTube this morning, and he's got a good distribution, good at shot stopping. I think if you put him under Onana, he'll have a lot to learn, but I think he'll get there eventually and be like the next Onana for United. Not saying obviously Van der Sar, Schmeichel and everything, but the next big thing at United. And I think keeper wise, when it comes to longevity, we've got it secured. And
yeah,
if we can get
definitely.
Suzuki as well. Moving forward though, I wanted to mention obviously that's Mason Mount done, yeah,
Yeah,
complete.
signed, sealed, delivered. Had his video
Onana's
came out today.
Onana's literally just half in the bag. just like obviously Romano's. Here we go, done. Third person I want you to talk about was Højlund. What do you think of him?
I'll be honest, I've never seen him play. I will hold up my hands. I know his stats. He's got something like 9 goals in Serie A last season. I know he's an absolute unit. He's like 6'4" or something. He's, I believe, 19, 20 or something like that. So, I mean, look, he looks decent, but just to play devil's advocate here for a little second, are we just doing this because he's Scandinavian?
Nah,
And
and
he's
I don't know.
part of that Haaland generation, you know?
I think Højlund for me, yeah, he's a kid, 20 years old, but he's got a lot to improve. I'll be honest with you, in some sense of just Benjamin Sesko. He's got a lot to learn. He'll develop into a good player, but I think when Ten Hag saying Højlund coming in, he look in the future as well. So I think I'm still expecting Kane to come this summer. I think he'll come. I don't think he'll
I
come
said
next
this
summer.
off
Yeah.
air, I'll say this on air, I've said this on tweets. 100 million deadline day. I'm not an ITK. I'm not in the know. You know, that fancy phrase everyone puts at the end of their Twitter handle or in their Twitter bio. I'm not one of them. There's something just telling me 100 million, Harry Kane, Man United.
But you know what it is though,
the Alan Shearer record.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how you get it.
I think Højlund as well, if you look at his international stats, 6 goals and 6 appearances.
That is, yeah, goal a game, fantastic.
Do you know what I mean? So I think in that sense, he's I think he's a leading striker for Denmark, probably one of the leading strikers. I think Ten Hag sees something in Højlund that probably a lot of fans don't, but I think he's a beast up front, and he's going to grow into becoming that beast as well. But I'll tell you what's interesting though as well, and I want to get your opinion on it as well. Mason Greenwood going the opposite direction.
Oh, that's a big topic, man. I mean, look, we've spoken about this privately. Let's bring this on air. For me, I think this has all gone on way too long. I think the club, the Glazer family in particular, should have dealt with this a long time ago. In my eyes, it feels like they've let it drag on so long so that when the new ownership comes in, whether that's Sheikh Jassim, whether that's Sir Jim Ratcliffe, hell, it could even be Ziliakis at this point. Who knows? You know, we've made it very clear we're out here and we're fully behind Sheikh Jassim. But I think what they have done in prolonging this is they have made the new owners have a very, very difficult first decision. In that, if they want to keep him, there's going to be an immense amount of backlash. However, if they want to sell him, there's going to be an immense amount of backlash. Either way, the new owners are going to have some sort of negative kickback from the fan base. I think the rumours we saw were something to do with a loan move.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think in that sense, it'd be a win-win for both ways as well. Because you can go on to the Italian Serie A league, you can smash it, get 20, 25 goals, get his match fitness up. By the time he comes back, United can make a decision if they want to sell him or they want to keep him. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion on Greenwood, the matter and everything. For me, I'll be honest with you, I think he should play for United. The CPS dropped the charges. I'm not. Everyone's saying he's innocent. I mean, that's not what was said. It was said that he was not guilty.
I remember we were all in the space recently.
Yeah.
And I believe, what was the wording used? Was it no case to answer, no case to action or something like that?
Innocent proven guilty.
Yeah, innocent until proven guilty. But I think the actual name for this sort of statement, like no case to answer for or something.
Yeah. So in that sense, the CPS has dropped it. So I think United are doing the right thing by leading their own investigation. But for me, I think if he was to play again for United, he needs to come out and do a statement. I think that's the most important thing. But I think going back, him going to Atlanta is going to be a massive, massive thing because it helps United. It brings in Hodgson on a permanent. He leaves on a loan. We've got Hodgson as well as a striker, which we have needed for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
And I think that helps a lot in the sense of we've got a striker, we can bring in another one if they want to target one, just the likes of Harry Kane.
yeah. Like I said, 100 million deadline day. You heard it here first, people. But
I,
one
you know
thing,
what? I'm going for about 80 mil. I think we can probably get it down
eight.
for about
It's
80.
Daniel Levy, man. Daniel
Yeah,
Levy's
but
gonna dig his heels in.
the way I see it is he can push it, Harry Kane, but he's on his last year as well.
But is he going to?
I
He
think
had
he
the
would.
opportunity last season. You know, the
I think he
overlap with
would.
Gary Neville.
I think he would.
Fantastic show, by the way, everyone. Check it out. But the overlap with Gary Neville, you know, when he was on the golf course and he was talking about wanting to be in the Champions League and this, that, the other, and it was basically him saying, "I want to go Man City."
And the way I see it as well, I think he will push it because I don't think he wants to play under this manager that they've got as well. I can't pronounce his name, but the guy they've got from Celtic.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah,
The
but
Celtic guy.
for me, I don't think he wants to play under him. Hugo Lloris is left as well. I think even if they give him the contract, not the contract, the captaincy as well, I think that's a big thing as well.
You just
Well,
mentioned contract there. I did see on Twitter this morning they have offered him apparently, you know, reports allegedly they've offered him a brand new contract.
what, Harry Kane?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh,
Again, I don't know. I don't know. Let's do some digging. Let's find out the background on that. But apparently, it's an improvement on his 200 grand a week. Now, realistically speaking, we had David De Gea on 375. We have rumours of Sancho being on 350. We have the City lads on 350, 375, 800 grand if you believe the papers about Haaland. I think for them to keep him, he's going to want 350 minimum.
yeah, and United can easily compromise that as well. Not compromise, but go with that as well. Give him that much choice, probably in bonuses as well if you totally up.
Yeah,
With Champions League and everything. Do you know what I mean?
well,
Premier title.
I think that's the thing that Eric Ten Hag has sort of implemented with our new contracts is they're very incentivized. It's very much again, guys. I'm not an ITK. These are just rumors, but it's very much sort of like if you get X amount of appearances, if you score X amount of goals, so X amount of goals gets you, I don't know, 100 grand bonus that month. If you go and get X amount of appearances, you go from a base wage of 80 grand to, let's say, 95 grand. And I believe that is how Garnacho's deal was done. Because, I mean, I saw reports of it being 40 grand. I saw reports of it being 80, 85. I didn't see a single report of it being over 100. And under the previous regime of Ed Woodward, I would have thought that would have been 150 a week minimum. So I'm kind of glad because, you know, we spoke about this on the Harami United show. We want to see this kid fledge out. We want to see him fulfill his potential. He's going to be an absolute star for us, man. And that just keeps him hungry, I suppose.
You know what I want to do? I want to go back to our previous episode we had with Harps, Riz, and Tej. I know they're not here, which is obviously unfortunate. But I think we mentioned about outgoings. We can obviously
Yeah,
go
we did
back.
briefly.
I think we can go back into that. But I think they've mentioned Dean Henderson going back to Nottingham Forest for about 20 mil, was it?
I've seen 20, I've seen 25, I've seen 30. But then I think to myself, this is Man United. We'll probably get like 2 million. You know, like,
yeah, this is what I mean.
We do not sell players.
I think today came out of Man City selling a kid for like 11 mil, 9 million, 9 million, 11.
I think it's 9 million rising to 15.
Yeah, something like that. And how much?
I've never heard of the kid.
How much did we sell it? Is it a Nick Baffer?
Not you. I think it was $1 million.
It was
And everyone was getting really happy that we've got to buy back. We've got to. a percentage of the next sale, but this is a guy who he's played in the Champions League, and just on a personal note from all of us, half Pakistani, is he half Iraqi? I don't want to get this wrong.
Yeah, he's half Iraqi.
Yeah. For him to make his Champions League debut at a club like Manchester United, such a proud moment for guys like us, man. On a representation standpoint, I think that really, it was a big night for him, his family, obviously, like I said, for us as well.
I think he came on with Charlie Savage, didn't he?
Yeah, Charlie Savage, Robbie's son.
Yeah.
I believe they'd been friends for a long time, so I think for them to make their debut together was quite a special moment. And if it's probably on YouTube somewhere, man. But the clip of when they came on and the commentator says, "I'm going to leave this to you, Robbie," and you can hear the emotion in his voice. You can feel how proud he was, and he just said, I think he says, coming on for Man United, Charlie Savage, my son.
Yeah.
And what a moment that must have been for him, man. Like, for his entire family, like, kudos to the kid, man. They made it. And not many do make it at Man United. Obviously, Charlie's now, I don't know why Charlie's...
This is the thing, because I think, how you just mentioned not that many make it at Manchester United. I'm going to go back to Mason Greenwood, and this is what I was saying to one of my friends, because one of my friends touched on this as well. He even said it as well. He goes, a lot of players that come from the academy, they don't end up staying at United for a very long time, like in the recent years.
I think the only ones I can think of are Rashford and McTominay.
Yeah, and he actually wants obviously Mason Greenwood to stay for a long time. And he touched on that as well, because he was like, Pogba left free transfer when he came back, and then he left to go on free transfer.
Yeah, he left to get on free transfer.
Yeah, and he goes, it would be a loss, because Greenwood, regardless of what people think, he's an asset on a footballing scale. He's an asset player, and he brings a lot to the table on the football pitch. And I think everyone knows that. Everyone knows it, but they can't, because of the whole investigation and everything, what's happened. They're trying to avoid that conversation about him being a footballer. But if you look at it, take out the personal aspect out of it, the charge and everything. Just talk about Greenwood, the footballer. Mason Greenwood, the footballer, for me, I think Fergie said it himself, or one of the other coaches. He's I think Ollie said it, a natural born finisher.
100%.
You know what I mean? For me, Greenwood...
I'm going to say something slightly controversial now. Obviously, this is the Brown Monday podcast. It's probably the wrong show, but for me, on a purely finishing basis, he's the best finisher I think we've had at that club since Ruud van Nistelrooy.
100%. I was going to mention that just now, but it's for me, Ruud van Nistelrooy was literally one of the United best strikers in that era. Probably all time, to be honest with you. But for me, Mason Greenwood is huge. I think on a footballing aspect, we have to keep him regardless. But at the end of the day, it's not up to us. It's up to the owners, the club, what they want to do. And I think
part of it as well is it's up to Mason. It's up to him. He'd be stupid to think he's going to come back and everything's going to be hunky-dory. He's going to get backlash wherever he goes, whatever ground he plays at. It's also up to him to think, you know what, am I able to hack this? Because it's going to take a toll on him mentally. When it takes a toll on him mentally, that might result in a physical toll. We don't know. But obviously we know mental health is a big factor in things like this. I know people are going to say, oh, your mental health, how you defending Greenwood. I'm not defending Greenwood in a sense of that. All I'm saying is he's going to get a lot of abuse, and that will affect him mentally. Rightfully or wrongfully so, that is the case. But let's move on from that for now. This isn't the Mason Greenwood show. We've literally, like I said to you, we sat here just chatting, and we thought, you know what, let's jump on, We've got some news about Onana potentially coming in. Let's see what other transfers are knocking about. Now, you mentioned this selling of players, this outgoing. I believe it was actually Riz. So shout out Riz if you're listening, man. We have this lineup of 11 players that apparently someone said Man United were going to sell. Riz found it. Riz dropped it in the group chat. So let me run you through these names one by one. And you give me a simple keep or sell. And if you're going to sell, give me a price tag, yeah? Sound good?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first name on the list, Dean Henderson.
So,
Okay. How
I'd
much?
say we can probably get about 20 mil out of him.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to see how much we think we can make from sales. Yeah. So let me just pull up a calculator. Whack a calculator here. So let's say 20 mil. Because again, we're Man United, we don't necessarily sell well. Okay. And then we've got Brandon Williams. Again, another academy product. I'm kind of sad to see him go. If he does go, to be honest, because I kind of like someone who's got that fight, that bit of dog in him, you know.
Yeah, I think Brandon Williams. We can probably. I would. You know, I actually want to keep him.
Okay, so you want to keep him?
Yeah, but I'm 50-50, I'd say. I'm 50-50.
Okay, so if you were going to sell him, how much would you sell him for? How much do you think we could get?
I think we can probably get about 10 million out of him.
Okay,
10 million,
so
and that's
10.
from like, I'd say that's from like a lower Premier League team.
I don't think he's going to a quote unquote top 6 side.
No, that's the thing
for Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 30 mil so far. Okay. Now this one's going to cause some controversy.
Before you go on to that one, I've just got it here. Market value for Dean Henderson is 18 million.
Okay, so yeah, 20 million about right. Anything above that we're laughing on, you know.
Let me get Brandon Williams up. Brandon Williams.
Go on, Brandon Williams.
So what I'll do whilst you do that one, I'll get the.
You finding these on Transfer Market, the Transfer Market website?
Yeah. So Brandon Williams is 7
just in
million.
case anyone wants to check this back. So 7 million. So yeah, between 7 and 10. Let's call it 10 for argument's sake. Okay, the next one, like I said, bit controversial, especially with the friend of the show, Tej. Our club captain, Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I think he needs to go. I think he's got a lot of errors in him. And he's just not up to being the defender that Ten Hag wants or needs. I still think we need to buy 2 more defenders coming in if we're going to sell him. But I would pick Victor over Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that camp too. One thing I didn't get to say on the Haram United episode was, and I was actually going to agree slightly with Tej, is that when we first signed Harry Maguire for that Ollie side, you know, Ollie ball as everyone liked to call it, or rivals used to call it, no tactics, just vibes. Because I don't think there was any tactics, to be honest. But it was very low block, counter-attacking, sort of fast-paced, sort of direct football in a sense. Harry Maguire in that side was, all he was required to do was sort of get his head on the end of things, get his body in the way of things, and clear it out to the wings. There wasn't any sort of requirement of you're going to pick up the ball, you're going to carry it 10, 15 yards, you're going to lay it off to X. X is then going to go do whatever. As obviously the system changed, the requirements changed, and I think he wasn't what we needed for Ollie's new system of front foot, forward flowing, you know, fast flowing, forward attacking play. So don't get me wrong, he's a professional footballer. He's an England international. Clearly, he's got an immense amount of talent. But Riz mentioned this as well. For the sake of him, for the sake of his family, for the sake of, you know, these, just to stop these ridiculous threats that he's getting, because guys, that's too far. I will never condone that. I think he has to leave. What are we saying price-wise?
So we signed it for around about 80 mil.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. We don't know.
We're not going to get around that. I think probably
we're not going to get anywhere near that, man.
2030.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for the sake of my calculator, I'm going to go 25. Just because we know he's on big wages, so I doubt someone's going to pay 30 and then want to pay all his wages as well. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and next one.
His market value is 20 million.
20 million. Oh, yeah, 20 is about right.
I mean, for me, Harry Maguire, he's just not a top club defender. For me, he's one of those mid-tables, top 8.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like
we've got friends that are Villa fans. I could see him doing well at Villa.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can just see it. I think it fits. I think as well the whole Maguire-Mings dynamic, England's number one centre-back pairing, because I don't know why Southgate picks it, but he does. I think there's something in that, but the window closes, I think, September, is it?
Yeah.
So, we've got plenty of time. Let's see how that plans out. The next one. I'm sad about this one, Akil. It's Eric Bailly, man.
Oh, Eric Bailly. You know what? Eric Bailly for me.
I used to love that crazy guy.
Eric Bailly under Jose Mourinho, come on, he was a player. He was a player.
That's what I mean. He was him and Marcus Rojo. Like, I've never seen a more unpredictable centre-back pairing in my entire life. You could get 10 out of 10s out of them, or you could get absolute clangers.
If you look at Eric Bailly, the way he plays, would you say he can play out the back?
I would. However, is he going to be fit to play out from the back?
Yeah, but this is the thing, though. So hear me out, yeah? Hear me out. So playing out the back for the keeper, it is risky, isn't it? But you have to have that confidence in you. Composure. I think Eric Bailly does have that as well. Now, put that alongside playing out the back for Eric Bailly. Now, if you bring in the new doctor that's coming in from Arsenal, and I think every fan that's watched the Arsenal All or Nothing on Amazon, they will know how important that doctor was, because I watched it myself. I'm a big fan of this Amazon All or Nothing. I think he's probably going to be a game changer as well in the backroom stuff for Everton Haag. I think if he can bring in 10.
I mean, it's a shame Phil Jones has gone then, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but his contract's coming though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? Like we said, thank you, Phil. Best of luck, man.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep Eric Bailly.
Okay, you're going to keep Eric Bailly?
Yeah,
okay. I'm going to keep again, for the purpose of this argument, if you were to sell him, how much are you selling him for? Pull up transfer market as well. Let's see what he's worth.
You know what? Market value says 5. I think we probably get about 5 as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't see us getting more than that.
I don't think he's not been much of a starter. He's been loaned out to Marseille. I'm not too sure how well he's done at Marseille.
Couldn't tell you, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Europa League winner with Sevilla, Alex Telles.
I think he needs to go as well.
Okay.
I think he's a good player, but I think we can probably get, let's say 11 million out of him.
Okay, Sevilla? 11 mil.
From Sevilla as well. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. And that, what's transfer market saying, about 11 mil?
7.5.
Okay, so anything above that, happy days, right?
By the way, market transfer market, it shows it in euros.
All right. Okay. So
yeah, I've just realised that myself.
Okay. We'll calculate this in euros. That's fine. We're on 71 million euros for now, guys. Fred.
You know, this was a little chat that we had in the other one, and I mean, I like
this was a big talking point.
Yeah, I like his work rate. I think he's a good player. That's me personally. I think he's a good player, but he's got a lot of errors in him as well. He can improve. That's the thing. I think coming off the bench and being that tired, not as a starter, but as a useful coming off the bench, I think he's good.
Okay,
I think he's good.
I'm going to just play devil's advocate again. Fred or Amrabat, if you had to pick one.
Amrabat.
Okay.
Amrabat,
So,
yeah. So
let's say Amrabat comes in, Fred goes out.
Yeah.
There's rumours Fulham are interested, rumours I saw Wolves, West Ham, all kinds of names linked. Then again, West Ham just being paid 105 mil, so I think they're going to be linked with everyone.
I think Fulham are interested in signing Fred as well, isn't it?
Okay, so how much are we talking?
I think we can probably get 30 mil out of him, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, optimistic.
I think,
again,
okay, you know
we're
what?
doing this in euros, guys.
Okay, you know what? 20 to 30 million.
Okay, we'll do 30.
Yeah.
Just because it makes, makes FFP look better. And as you know, apparently we've got no FFP leeway right now.
I mean, you know what it is, Afzal? Everyone's got their own opinions. And for me, I think Fred's a good player. He's a useful player.
I think he's a useful player, but I still think he needs to go, man. And I think the fact that he was signed for 50, 60 million doesn't help.
I do understand everyone saying he needs to go. I'm saying the same thing as well. He does need to go. He needs to find a new club. But I think he's a good player. Everyone's saying he's a crap player and everything. But I think he's a good player, but he needs to go. He needs to move on.
You know where I think he'd do really, really well?
Tottenham.
I was actually going to say Brighton.
Swap with Caicedo.
Not a swap, because rumours are Chelsea are in for Caicedo and they've nearly got the deal done.
Would you take Caicedo though?
100%.
Yeah.
150%.
Okay, here's another one. Lavia, because I know you're a big fan of Lavia. Lavia or Caicedo? On the spot?
Why are you doing this to me, man?
Come on.
Okay. Between the two, and I can only have one. Okay.
I've also a big fan of Lavia and Caicedo.
I am. That is very true. Oh my god. In a hypothetical situation, can I buy one now and buy one next summer?
No. Just choose one.
God's sake, man. Okay.
You know what? If you ask me, I'm going with Caicedo because he can operate all over the pitch.
You know what? Yeah, Caicedo.
He can operate all over the pitch. And for me, when Caicedo plays, he's like a Kante.
Yeah, he played at right back recently, towards the end of the season for Brighton, and he killed it, man. Like, I was like, whoa, this is like, I knew he could, if you're talking someone who can play right back, centre defensive mid, centre mid. I'm not saying he's a number 10 and a centre attacking mid, but surely he can fill that role for a game or two, So yeah, that versatility comes in handy. Obviously,
yeah,
100 million, I think the talks are now.
So Fred, his market value is, where is he? 20 million.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
The next one, Scott McTominay, Manchester lad.
Okay, Scott McTominay. I know what I think it's. Yeah, I think we have to let him go as well. As much as I want to keep him, and keep the academy prospect in at United, I think he needs to go.
Okay, give me a price tag.
I'd say about 15 million.
15 or 50?
15, 15.
Okay, 15, cool. Okay, right, and what's that put us on transfer market? What's that saying?
25.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what? That's.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you.
You know what? That's baffled me. That's why I was a bit silent for about 2
minutes. Yeah, it shot me there a minute.
No, because you know what it is. Like I put Fred value above McTominay. And this is the other way around.
But Scott's got that. Don't forget, and he's got that British tax on him.
Yeah,
I know Fred's got Brazilian tax.
yeah.
You know, with the flair and all that, but
You know what? I think
that's an odd one.
Scott would do really good at Newcastle.
I think he would. I
Yeah.
think he could rotate in and out with Bruno Guimaraes. I think he could play very well next to Joe Linton. Very physical midfield. Obviously, they've got Tonali as well. So
What do you
it's going to
think
be
of?
interesting to see.
What do you think of Tonali?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not going to be one of them guys that's like, yeah, he's meant this, that, the other. I've not seen much of him. Okay, I'll be honest, guys. If we're going off Football Manager, the guy's going to win the Ballon d'Or in about 3 years' time. But this ain't Football Manager. This is real life. I've not seen too much of him. From the little I've seen, I'm not overly impressed, but I can see there's a player in there. I've seen people say he's like the next Pirlo. Pirlo's one of my favourite ever midfielders. So I can't make that jump just yet. But moving this along, next player, Akil, Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, he needs to go. He's not fit into at all with under Oli as well.
I'm surprised he didn't work under Ten Hag, to be honest.
Yeah. I think under Ten Hag, he tried him under a few positions, didn't he?
Yeah, and then obviously he got injured and
Yeah.
the Everton loan. It hasn't worked for whatever reason. It's best to just cut ties. I mean, if there's an avenue open for him to go back to Ajax, maybe that might be preferred for him. I don't know.
How much did you sign him for? 40 mil or something.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll find out. Donny van de Beek.
I think it was about 40 million or something.
I can't remember exactly, but all I remember about Donny van de Beek is it was one of them Manchester United transfers that got done rapid. It was all done within a weekend, and we were like, whoa, we've not seen this in years. Let's have a look. Donny van de Beek, Man United transfer fee.
Yeah, it was 39 euros. It says here.
Yeah, so about 30, call it 35 million quid. Okay, so how much are you selling him for?
I think we'll probably get about 15 million out of him because of his injury record and everything.
Yeah, 15 mil. And what's transfer market saying?
13 euros.
30 million euros. Yes. About 10 millish, 10, 9, 10-ish, somewhere like that. Okay, next one. Another academy product, Anthony Elanga.
Yeah, I think we can probably get about 7-8 million out of him.
Okay, we'll put 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's transfer market saying?
Wow. 18.
No.
Seriously, 18.
Whew. Okay. Okay, we might be losing money on that one then, but it is what it is. We move.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. Anthony Martial. I don't know if you're part of Martial FC, but I'm certainly not.
No, I'm not. I mean, when he first signed, I was a big fan of him, but the more he got into
that debut goal, man.
I know.
What a way to introduce yourself.
I know.
And then it just, it went downhill, let's say.
For me, Martial was, I think for me, with Martial, when we signed Ibrahimovic and the number 9 was taken off him, I think that's when the downhill started for him.
Because he was a Van Gaal signing.
Yeah, I think when he had that season or two, which were good, it was looking positive for him. But then again, he didn't live
even under Jose. I mean, he had that season where he was left wing. Him and Marcus used to rotate in and out. Either one would start, one would come on, vice versa, and they were performing. And then we signed this guy called Alexis Sanchez for some reason.
Yeah, the piano kid.
You know, we had all these left wingers. The only right winger we had in Henrik Mkhitaryan, we thought, you go over there and we'll take Sanchez as another left winger. And it was like, no, if anything, we needed a backup to Mkhitaryan. But
You know what's funny as well? What's funny is Jose Mourinho signed Mkhitaryan, right?
yeah, Mkhitaryan, Ibrahimovic, Pogba, and Bailly. What a summer.
Sanchez, who did he come under? Which manager?
Jose?
So the guy that Jose bought Mkhitaryan, and then Woodward literally swapped them both together. Mkhitaryan to Arsenal, and that guy went over to.
Yeah, I'm still here, Akil. I'm just plugging in my laptop.
Yeah, so that guy went over to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit
safe to say that was the worst swap deal in history.
Yeah. I think for me, Marshall needs to go. I think we could probably get about 20 million out of him.
20 mil. I think he's in his last year of his contract.
Is it?
He's still saying 20.
27. I think,
Is that
no,
the transfer market saying?
15.
Okay, so you're saying 20, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 20. Final name on the list. Jadon Sancho. What are you saying?
Ooh, you know what? I'm split on this guy.
You and me both, brother.
Split. I'm going to say give him one more season. One more season.
I would agree.
I actually got into a debate with one of my mates who's during the end of the season, he kept saying Sancho, he needs to unleash himself. He needs to put his foot down because he's gone through obviously the training program that Ten Hag put him through, and everything along those lines. And he kept saying after every game, he kept saying he's not performing. We need to get rid of him. But I kept saying to him, give him the benefit of the doubt, give him one more season. I understand he was in that training program in November, was it? I think.
Yeah, don't forget, obviously, he had a bit of a personal situation, and that's why he took a bit of time away.
For me, Sancho, give him one more season.
I back it, man. I back it.
Yeah.
But
if we were to sell him,
yeah, go on. How much are you selling?
I don't know. I'm saying about 35, 40.
35. It was 75 we paid, I think.
Yeah. We're not going to get that much on him. We're not going to get that much on him.
Okay, so these are my expert calculations.
One second.
Might screw it up here.
So one here.
Give me the transfer market.
Yeah, it's 45 euros.
45 euros. Okay, so for the purpose of this, we've done it all in euros because we realised halfway through. Expert calculations, like I said, I might have missed a number here and there. I might have not pressed equals or add on the calculator, but I've got a figure here of 194 million euros.
100 what?
194 million euros.
That's just outgoings, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the outgoings we've just worked out, yeah? So let's whack that into a currency converter thing. 194 million euros to sterling. That gives us 165 million pound.
Okay, so that's 165, yeah?
Yeah, 165 million pound.
Okay, so keep 165 there. Put down Onana's fee, Mount.
So
Hodgland.
50. Okay, so 165. Let's call Onana 50 because we don't know the final fee yet.
Yeah, 50.
Argument's sake, we'll go 50.
Hodgland.
Mount's 55.
Hodgland.
What
are the figures saying? 40. What are they saying? 40.
Some are saying 40, some are saying 50.
Do argument for sake, do 40. I'm gonna add 2 more players in there as well.
Okay, 40.
I'm gonna add 2 more players in there. Amrabat for 30.
Amrabat for 30.
And do Kane for 100.
Okay, so that's an outgoings of 1. Oh no, hang on. So, right. 165. I've done this wrong. Sorry. So 165 minus the amount 60. We'll call it 60 because that's what it's reported at. Minus the 50 for Onana. Minus 40 for Highland.
So incomings, absolute incomings are 280.
Yeah.
So take that off was it 165? 165?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got basically 115 net spend.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all, man. Not bad.
Yeah. You know,
Now,
I think for me, the only disappointing part of it would be when it comes to transfers is if we don't sign a defender.
this is what I was going to get onto. I hate to go back to this, guys, but it was mentioned in the Harami episode 1, so you might get a bit more context by listening to that. Riz did mention, again, big up Riz, he did mention Maguire and Lindelof both have to go. Now, for that to happen, we need to sign 2 new centre-backs. 2 of the names we were linked with, Yuri and Timber, having his medical at Arsenal today. Apparently, he's completed his medical, deal is ready to be officially announced. And Kim Min-jae is signed for Bayern. Who you bringing in? 2 defenders. Give me 2 names.
See, this is the thing. I think
Take time, man. Take time.
I think if he, I mean, I would bring in Silva from Sporting Lisbon. But then I'd also bring in probably. I mean, someone said in the last episode, delete, but Tej, do you remember, said he's got a lot of mistakes more than Maguire.
You know what?
Then,
I loved hearing Tej's viewpoints, man. Would love to have him back on the show. We are working on that. That's something we have got in the works, guys. So you're saying, is it Antonio Silva? The young kid?
yeah, from Lisbon.
Okay.
I think he's like
Mateus
18. I think he's like 18 or something.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your 2. My 2 would be another Inter Milan player, Champions League finalist, Alessandro Bastoni.
Oh.
I think he was so cool, calm, collected on the ball, dealt with all the City players well. You know, I'm talking Haaland, Grealish, and they ain't no bombs. They're top world-class players, whether we like to admit it or not. And my second one, I'm going to pick another Italian just because I've got this weird thing about Italian defenders. Obviously, look at our childhood, man. Nesta, Maldini, guys like that. I'm going to go with a young lad. I think he is a Napoli youngster, if I'm right. Giorgio Scalvini.
I think so. You know what? There's another defender. I think it's for Sporting Lisbon. No, I think that Antonio
Are you thinking
Silva.
of that Inacio?
Yeah, I was going to say Inacio.
Gonzalo Inacio.
Yeah. I think Silva plays for Benfica. Am I right?
Let me have a look.
I get mixed up with these 2. Yeah, Antonio Silva plays for Benfica, and Inacio plays for Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, that's correct.
I would bring in Inacio. I think he's from what I've heard is he's best friends with Bruno Fernandes, and shares the same agent as him as well. So I think that would actually give us a lift.
Scalvini, just to point out, he doesn't play for Napoli. He plays for Atalanta. We've got a relationship there from the Ahmad deal.
Yeah.
We've got an ongoing relationship there with the Highland deal. Let's grab them both, man.
Yeah.
Transfer market has got Scalvini at 40 million euros. And they put Bastoni. Oh, I'm expecting the Bastoni value to be big. Let's have a quick check.
You know, when you mentioned the Italian players, the only downside for me is when it comes to the English Premier League, they don't fit in properly for me.
This is the thing. They don't properly adjust. Obviously, we know that firsthand with Matteo Darmian. So much promise. Again, just to chime in, Bastoni, 60 million euros. And then you mentioned Antonio Silva. Let's get him up. He's coming up at 45 million, Antonio Silva. And then you mentioned that Inacio as well. Inacio is 30 million. So we're looking at about, argument's sake, let's round it up. Let's call it 100 million for another couple of centre backs. That's in euros. But yeah, we've had a good chat. We've gone through some outgoings, planned out some incomings as well. But yeah, I think we should wrap it up there. Akil, what do you think? I think you're on mute, Akil.
Yeah, because my cat's just come in as a special guest.
Fair enough.
So she's literally all over me.
It's all right, man.
So I think that should be it for today's episode, to be honest with you. And I think next episode I think from what I've heard is we've got a special guest coming.
I believe we do. I believe Yusuf's got an Arabic gentleman who's willing to jump on the pod and join us. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Get a few more viewpoints from that side of the world on all things Manchester United. Obviously, you guys heard Yusuf's story, and you could hear the passion in his voice, the way his whole sort of demeanor changes when he talks about Manchester United. Obviously, we know him personally. You hear him talk about his work, and then you hear him talk about Man United, and he just lifts everything when Manchester United comes in, and I love that passion. Just one final thing before we go. Just a massive thank you again to you guys. The support has been immense. So keep following, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing it as well. That's the most important thing, because we want to get this out there. We really want to push this. And yeah, man. Any final words, Akil?
No, I mean, obviously we appreciate everyone's support and love. We said at the start of the show. Just obviously this wasn't even planned. We were just chatting, and we just
just a little behind the scenes. We were literally just chatting, and we said, you know what, we could have recorded this. So let's do it.
But yeah, guys, we appreciate the love and support. Keep watching, keep listening in. We have got a special guest coming on the next episode from the Middle East, and we are open to bringing a lot of special guests. We have got a lot in the pipeline. We have got a lot.
We've got big plans, guys. So keep it locked.
So we have to literally go from one episode to another episode. Both sides, Brown Munde episode, Harami United episode, which is unfiltered. Yeah.
Well, perfect way to end it, Akil. Thanks, guys, and we will be back soon.
Yeah, see ya.
you